Thank you very much. And for the next 20 minutes, I will discuss how we used LeanIX, not only to get control of our vast and ever-growing application landscape due to our sort of aggressive acquisition journey, but also how we sort of use the cloud to fuel our growth in terms of our digital products and solutions. And before, to set the stage a little bit and also to reflect on some of those everyday use cases that you might see in your everyday life. And in the post-world, in the pre-pandemic world, for example, when you left your house, for example, you would mostly likely have your keys where you lock the door, for example. And then when you went to the garage, for example, you would probably need something like a dongle or something like that to be able to access your garage and get into the door. And then obviously you would need to have your key to be able to get into your car. Or if you're not driving a car, for example, you might have your Oyster card or your commuter card to be able to get into the subway or the bus and so forth. And then finally, the time when we did go to the office in the past, you also had a badge where you went into the office and so forth. And then when you had the time when you had international travel, for example, you would need to have your passport. And if you're driving a car, then you will need to have your driver's license. Or like myself, if you like to go to a soccer game, for example, you need to have a paper ticket in order to be able to get into the game and so on. But what we try to do at ASSA ABLOY is really to fuel this into one digital identity. And we really try to empower this and put this all into your cell phone. So all what I just showed you can be realized as an identity within your cell phone. And that's really what we are trying to do, where we're coming from, trying to move in from a product economy into a more subscription economy and empowering our customers to do the same. Brief about ASSA ABLOY. We are a large company. We are shy of 9 million euros in turnover. We're almost 50,000 employees worldwide. And you can almost see us in every customer segment there is, from finance and banking to entertainment and media and so forth. So we are in a lot of different industries. And some of the group journey highlights in terms of our expansive acquisition journey, I should say, because the company itself is quite young. We were formed in 1994 when ABLOY from Finland and ASSA from Sweden joined forces and created a new conglomerate called ASSA ABLOY. And since then, as you can see, it's been a very, very expansive acquisition journey. And what you can see in front of us is some of those highlights that we've done. And what we do now is that some acquisitions that we do are based on IP that we buy, and some are based on physical locks that we buy or access control systems. So it's also a vast portfolio of what we buy and what type of companies that we sort of introduce in our acquisition journey. And ASSA ABLOY, we're 25 years of profitable growth. And as I said before, we do about 20 acquisitions a year, which accumulates up to about 250 acquisitions, which I will come back to, also leaves us with some challenges on the IT landscape and how we need to manage that over time. And we also operate in over 70 countries, so it's a vast footprint that we need to have in terms of being able to service our customers. And since the inception, and really coming back to this, and how we're sort of fueling cloud and how we're fueling the digital twin concept of trying to connect our physical products with a digital twin and making a better customer experience. As you can see, since 2005, we've had tremendous growth in digital and really five-folded our growth in that. And we've also been placed on Forbes list for the most world's innovative companies, not only once, but 5 times in the last 10 years. So it's quite exciting journey that we're on. And from these 250 acquisitions, obviously this puts a lot of strain on the IT landscape. And we have numerous of applications across the organization. And if we try to try to create the target architecture like this, it's just layer after layer after layer of how you would create this. And this is really what we have used LeanIX to really get under the hood of getting a better decision-making process, being able to fuel our executives with good data points. They feel more secure to make rationalization decisions. We can map this towards how we map our manufacturing footprint, how we map our logistics footprint when we talk about data modernization. So over the last 18 months that we've used LeanIX, this has been a tremendous success, and we were able to create early wins in some key areas. For example, within sales and marketing and also HR. And within HR, for example, we identified that we had over 400 HR applications, including payroll and expense. And when we've done sort of a deep dive analysis of this, we have identified rationalization opportunities of 75 to 80% of our portfolio over the next 3 years, together with rolling out a global HR system. So I think that's a very key win that we've sort of been able to demonstrate with LeanIX internally. And then if we talk and change our focus a little bit to how do we fuel our customer experience? How do we enable our customers to be able to use our products in a different way? We talked about customer success statistics before, for example, and also obviously that is part of our sort of capabilities that we need to build going forward as well. But internally, the way we communicate is that we have 2 key capabilities that we are focusing on driving, which is really how do we build capabilities to enable the subscription economy, but also how do we create a digital factory? How do we fuel cloud technologies in order to be able to operate our customer-facing products and solutions? And if we dig in a little bit into the recurrent revenue and the capabilities to enable the subscription economy, and I'm sure most of you in this session will recognize that you're on this journey as well to more of a subscription economy, or thinking about how you can enable recurrent revenue. But where most companies are coming from today is really from the existing business model, where you have the product economy, where in the past you were really focused on getting your products out there in the market. You were trying to fuel the different channels, but to be honest, you didn't really care about how and how your customers were using them, and you really didn't have a good relationship with your customers if you were a product company. For example, ASSA ABLOY, I can safely say that we have over 1 billion products out there that are not connected, and we don't have a relationship with our customers. But in the emerging sort of business model that we're trying to transgress into, it's all about how we manage the subscriber. How do we put the customer at heart in this ecosystem? How do we create new, different, and expansive relationships with the customers? And how can we move together with the customers along these different touch points? Because moving from the product economy to the subscription economy is really about moving from unit sales to value pricing. It's about selling products to selling outcomes. It's about thinking about unit margins to selling customer lifetime value, and demonstrate that. And the 4 key capabilities that we really demonstrated that we needed to build internally in order to be able to fuel this new emerging business model is really that we need to be able to have a flexible way to do product and packaging. It can't take 6 months to be able to update your pricing in your ERP system. It needs to be done in weeks or even hours sometimes. We need to have a more seamless billing and revenue management to handle this across the life cycle. And we need to be able to have zero-touch fulfillment of our digital products and solutions. You wouldn't go to Spotify and then buy a song and then wait a week for it to be fulfilled. It needs to be instant, and that is really a challenge for us to be able to fuel that feature as well. But then also from our customer success statistics, we need to also have unparalleled insights about our customers, our products, but also connect that to our sales and our revenue. And moving from this transactional to circular economy, it's really a fundamental shift in how you change the dynamics of your dynamic relationship with your customers. And along these value maps that we've created on this journey, we have really used LeanIX to map out where do we have the capabilities today and where do we need to establish the capabilities of tomorrow. And if we take the other example, in terms of the digital factory, and really how do we fuel our products and solution, and how do we enable that customer experience for our customers? And as I said, we move along a number of customer segments. But if we take an example, for example, with the hotel market, which during this post-pandemic and this pandemic has been very hit hard, and they are looking to foster new ways to have a new type of relationship with customers, that you can actually skip the front desk, you can get your mobile key provisioned to your phone, and then you can walk straight to your door and you can safely enter your room without having to actually interact with any people. So please, I invite to roll the video and I show you in real life how this works. Do we have a challenge with the video?
Oh, Niklas, I'm not too sure about...
Introducing Vostio by ASSA ABLOY Global Solutions. Because your guests are not the only ones who deserve to sleep well. Smart devices have revolutionized the way we live and travel. Imagine having a true cloud-based access management solution that is constantly evolving, so you can manage your property from anywhere. Whether behind the front desk, in the back office, or on the go. Because it is securely hosted in the cloud, no local servers are needed. Vostio gives you peace of mind. It's always up to date, backed up, secure, maintenance-free, and GDPR ready. Vostio, unlock the power of the cloud.
Great. So with a little bit of technical hiccup, we were able to see that. But I think the key takeaways from here is really what goes on behind the scenes. Because although this looks quite simple on the front end, it's a quite complex undertaking to be able to orchestrate and connect these type of ecosystems that you see. But the key imperative that we are really trying to drive is that we need to be able to provide an always-on customer experience, for example. We have global hotel chains, for example, that in the pre-pandemic had over 4,000 customers, for example, checking in every hour on the hour, all year round. And really, we need to be able to follow where our customers are. We need to be able to provide digital at scale. We need to be able to provide the services in the region and in the different areas where our customers are. So using the cloud to do that is a key imperative for us, because we would never be able to build data centers quick enough to be able to scale with our customers. But then the last one, which I definitely think should not be underestimated, is really where the R&D organization who's developing our products and solutions and how IT is converging together. It's a major organizational shift in how these two organizations needs to work a lot closer together in a more DevOps sort of setting. And this is a huge undertaking and a huge organizational shift to get these two organizations to work together. And we've been on this journey for the last 4 to 5 years, and I think we're coming out on the end here with a good collaborative environment. But this feature should not be underestimated. So in closing, I would just like to finalize with a quote from Forrester, which is really that in the digital economy, you must harness both digital technologies, and you need to deliver the superior customer experience, but you also need to drive that agility and operational efficiency in order for you to stay competitive. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, dear Niklas Sunberg, based in Sweden, Stockholm.